Something I wonder about is when you listen to the hearing testimony of John Ray, the new CEO of FTX, are you finding that you can find any closure for your constituents or any path forward?
I wish I could say that, but clearly this is a multi-billion-dollar mess that's going to continue. When Mr. Ray pointed out to us that the bookkeeping system was rudimentary, off-the-shelf small business software being used to manage a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, when he discussed the lack of strong board management in the various enterprises, the ability of the CEO to loan himself money out of the company, it was horrifying. But that's what this hearing is about. Get to the bottom of the mess so we can figure out how to make sure, from Congress's perspective, this doesn't happen again.
Has it changed your view of the entire crypto industry, or do you view this as a one-off event?
Well, I've always been a little suspicious of crypto, not so much from the perspective of the professional investors, but there are a lot of little people out there who put their money into this, who've been pulled in. I said in 32 of my town meetings this summer, only invest the money you don't need. It's the Wild West right now in crypto. Unfortunately, there was a gunfight and the investors may have lost.
You asked during the hearing also why certain assets were left out of the bankruptcy. Do you feel that those assets should have been included?
Well, ultimately, the investors will want as much of their money back as they can possibly get. And when Mr. Ray could identify $1 billion that they had pretty well tied down, but if public reports are to be believed, that means $6 or $7 billion may not be accounted for yet. I'm very unnerved. And I also wanted to know, because the international nature, 100 and some enterprises scattered around the world in FTX, how that would act. Would prudent regulators, perhaps in the United States and other countries, have assets, and countries where perhaps the regulation wasn't so prudent, will they want to draw upon that? Those are all questions that ultimately will be answered, but it's important to people who put some, maybe their life savings, I hope not, but put real money into this, what now appears to have been a fraud.
Among your peers on this committee, there seems to be a debate here about the role of the SEC when it comes to enforcement of the crypto industry and laying out the rules of the land here. What do you feel is the right role for the SEC versus the CFTC, as you've also previously spent time on the Agriculture Committee?
I chaired the Ag Committee when we had former Senator Corzine under oath about his debacle. CFTC is a proactive entity. You come to them with ideas and concepts. They proactively make rules and regulations. Securities and Exchange Commission is a reactive group. They come in after the fact. It's two different cultures, two different perspectives. We'll see when all this sorts out. Incoming chairman of the Financial Services Committee, Patrick McHenry, is very focused on bringing order to the crypto industry. We'll see what form that takes, but it will involve both ag and financial services, and we've got to make sure that this kind of a mess can't happen again.
Do you have faith that some of these rules can be sorted out in near term when even committee members are disputing on the role of the SEC?
Well, you saw the fundamental disagreement. Part of my colleagues in the committee believe that crypto should not exist and essentially should be banned. Part of my colleagues on the committee believe it is the future of commerce, the standard of currency. I'm not sure where we fall yet in that process, but crypto is not going away. But it's taken a big old hit thanks to the folks at FTX.
You and some of your peers have also told me they remember Sam Bankman-Fried walking through these halls fairly often. You were in a hearing with him very recently as well. Some of the committee members had also taken political donations from Sam Bankman-Fried.
Well, at the time those contributions would have been given, and I don't believe I received any of those, he was the wonder boy of crypto. He was the wonder boy of modern finance. He told everyone he'd created a system that could not fail, that would only work. Well, like most wonder boys, he's under arrest now.
So what do you think that those committee members should do with the funds?
I can't answer that question. If it was given in good faith, that's the decision they have to make. But it is also why we all have to be prudent as public officials about the help we receive.